Yes, hello, parents, and welcome back to another episode of Parenting Teens with Dr. Cam. I'm your host, Dr. Cam, and today I'm talking with Scott Jennens from Resilient Youth Australia. Scott has taught for over 30 years, primarily with students experiencing social, emotional, and behavioral problems. For the past 3 years, Scott has been the partnership manager for Resilient Youth Australia. And Resilient Youth Australia has conducted well-being surveys in schools and captured the responses of nearly 400,000 young people. Scott believes that being connected, protected, and respected is the key to developing resilience in young people. Welcome, Scott. I am so happy to have you here.
My pleasure, Dr. Cam.
Calling all the way from Australia. Love it. So, Scott, tell us and start first, what inspired you to start focusing on teen mental health?
Yeah, look, I've, as I said in the introduction, I've had a long career teaching in mainly a behavioural unit, so kids with social, emotional, behavioural problems, so high school kids. And I found out fairly early that it wasn't so much the subjects I was interested in teaching, it was teaching young people about themselves and how to develop that resilience. In those early days at the behavioural unit, we were forever setting up challenges for the kids, team and personal challenges. We had a high and low ropes course on site, and we used to take the young people out on 9-day wilderness adventures. So ways to really challenge them on a personal level, but also give them those milestones, points of reference they could keep with them for the rest of their lives, those achievements that they could refer back to.
That's amazing. And the skills that are they're going to need throughout life, right?
That's right.
Building those resilient skills. So you do a lot of research and surveys. Are there any just interesting or surprising points that you've discovered or that you apply now?
Yeah, look, I think the framework we use to measure resilience is the super domains we use is being connected, protected, and respected. And I think looking back on my teaching, it was when those three elements came together in kids' lives that they felt the best about themselves, and therefore they were ready to learn and move forward. If there was parts of that were missing, then it was our job to try to address that and help them feel more connected, protected, and respected, the CPR of resilience.
I
So
love the
being
CPR.
connected, sorry, Dr. Camp, being connected is to do with positive relationships, developing social skills, and understanding themselves. Being protected about the personal safety, having a healthy mind and body, and also creating a learning environment that meets the needs of the young people. And being respected about having a positive attitude, positive values, and being able to make a positive contribution. And I think that last point's important too. It's not all about them, it's about how they can contribute and assist other people. I think we all feel best when we're helping other people.
100%. I mean, it's scientifically shown that it impacts your brain, right? And it brings more positivity to your brain. So right now, we've been through over a year of a pandemic, and parents are feeling like, oh my gosh, my teen's level of resiliency is just plummeting. We're seeing a lot of just depression and anxiety and all of these things. So what can parents do to build up each of these three areas to make sure their kids are healthy?
Look, it's a interesting question. I think one of the biggest things that parents can do is model behaviours. I think if we want young people to be resilient, then we have to demonstrate that. Young people learn by example, and by example. So it's modelling those behaviours that are so important. So we're the ones that show that yes, we can get back into a routine. Yes, we can stay positive. Yes, we can get up in the morning and get through the lockdowns, push through this pandemic. I think that's the greatest thing that that parents need to remember, that they're the role models and they're the ones that the young people learn from.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, that's not an easy thing to do right now, because there's
It's
a
not,
lot of adults that are struggling to be able to do that.
certainly is. Yeah, yeah, it certainly is. We found that with overall resilience, kids reach their peak at about 11 or 12 years old. So the end of our primary school in Australia is when kids are most resilient, and
Mhm.
then it drops off from there. So we've got, that's that transition to secondary school over here. Then sort of educational engagement becomes a key, and it sort of plateaus off around the end of our high school as far as resilience go. The other interesting thing that we found is that females tend to be more resilient than males, apart from in adolescence, where the females' mental health, their anxiety, their depression, their hope tends to drop down below the males. So yeah, that's another interesting thing that we found with the surveys that we've done.
It really is. And have you found any things that are associated with that, or any reasons why, we peak at 11 and we start going back down through adolescence
And for the rest of our lives
and for
too.
the rest of
I
our
think,
life? Oh man.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's when we're feeling, we understand the world a little bit and we feel safe and secure in it. And we're often the big fish in the little pond in
Yeah.
primary school. And I think it's all that, the reality of, taking on responsibility and moving into adolescence, and all of the stuff that comes with that transition to adulthood. I think that affects us all as far as resilience goes.
Right.
Yeah.
But
It does. You will be pleased to know, Dr. Cam, that when you get to about 70, if you get to about 70, it starts going back up
oh,
again.
good.
So
Something to look forward to.
that's right. Yeah.
So if our resilience is actually going down and we need to model it for our teens, but from what you're saying, our resiliency is actually less than our teens. So please, Scott, tell us, how do we model positive resiliency when we're obviously going down in it too?
Yeah, that's the tough one, isn't it? It's a tough job being a parent. I've got three adult children myself, and it's always easier working with other people's kids rather than your own, I find. Yeah, no, it's a tough one. It's a tough job as a parent. It's, we want to create an environment where they feel connected, protected, respected. Um, but having said that, it takes a lot of energy, positive energy, that we need to find the resources for. So I
Yeah.
think looking after ourselves and each other so that we can be the best possible version of ourselves, I think that's the way that we can model resilience. So taking the time out to look after ourselves, to show our young people that we're valuable and we as a resource is the best resource for our young people.
Yeah. Now, you do a lot of work with kind of the connection in schools and parents and helping teens, correct? What are right now, especially since kids have been home and parents have been a lot more responsible for their kids, school and keeping them motivated, and it's not been easy. I think most people I've talked to are like, I don't even know anymore. Like, our kids are so completely unmotivated and we're really struggling to just get them on. And now going back, some kids are going back. So it just keeps changing. So how can parents best help their kids succeed in school, especially when they're at the point where they do not care anymore?
Yeah, look, it is tough, and I think it's realizing that the situation we're in feels like it's forever,
Mhm.
but it isn't. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Things will return back to some sort of normal, and in the meantime, it's just that um, propping ourselves up as much as we can, being as positive as we can. I always think that what young people learn at school is fairly small in the scheme of what they learn in life. So, what they're learning at the moment is probably going to help them in their building up their resilience down the track.
Such a good point. That, and I actually heard too that a lot of colleges are asking kids now in their essays what they learned through the pandemic.
Yeah.
So it was really like, what are you actually learning and what are you building? So in a way, it's something that parents and kids can do together, is learn some of these skills, right?
Yeah, that's right. I've always thought of parenting as a bit like whitewater rafting. There's times where it's beautiful and serene and, you can't get enough of it, the sun's out. And there's other times where you come around a corner and all you can do is hang on for dear life as you're going through rapids. I think that's one of those times where if we can survive this, that's great. The sun comes back out and it will be calm waters ahead. And at the
Yes.
moment, it might just be a case of holding on tight and making the most of it.
And if it's anything like my whitewater rafting experience, you get thrown out of the boat too. You gotta swim for your life to get back.
Yep,
in.
and it can be terrifying at times, but you look back on it and go, wow, that was fantastic.
That was the best part of it.
That's right. Yep.
So any other tips for parents on how to really build, like what are some of the specific things we can model for our kids? You're saying, be positive and things like that, but are there any specific techniques or strategies or anything that we can model for our kids to help them and clearly us become more resilient?
Yeah, look, I think the Resilience Project, who is a group out here, I'm not too sure whether you've heard of them, Hugh van Cuylenburg, has set it up with the fundamentals being gratitude, empathy, and mindfulness. And I think those three components of modeling, being grateful for what you've got. Yep, it's not great at the moment, but there's a lot worse off than us. So being grateful for the fact that we may have roofs over our heads, that we've got food to eat, all of those things, reminding ourselves each day, maybe sitting around dinner with the young people and, what's gone well for us today? What are we grateful for? That empathy, being aware of how other people are traveling, and practicing that mindfulness. It's a bit like shutting down all the computer screens each day so that you can refresh yourself and not be cluttered with everything that you're carrying around. I think those three things, gratitude, empathy, and mindfulness, if we can demonstrate them ourselves as well as show our young people what that's all about, I think that's a really good first step.
That is a great idea. And I love the idea of just saying what are you grateful for today, or what did you appreciate today? And even just finding one thing every day starts rewiring your brain.
It does, and it makes a difference, and you feel more positive.
Yeah, it's amazing how that happens. So tell us about this free, it's like 69-page book, which I read the whole thing because it's so many great tips in there. Tell us about that.
Yeah, look, we've developed 101 ways to grow resilience. It's mainly, we had it for schools and teachers in mind, but there's a lot of things there that parents can use. It's just practical things that are catalogued in the same way as our resilience survey. So the CPR, connected, protected, and respected. They're just little things, low cost, no cost ideas that can be implemented to help build resilience.
Yeah, there was definitely, I think you had just ways to show kindness with some of them too, and just conversations to have. So there was some really cool things in there. So
if I think you'll share the link with people.
Absolutely,
that's a free ebook if people want to jump into our website and grab that. We'd love to share it with people.
Absolutely. I will keep that link out there so people can do that. In fact, I believe I put the link in right now so people could see that in this. Um, so if people like want to find you, Scott, how did they find you?
Yeah, look, I think probably either through the help desk at Resilient Youth Australia or directly Scott at resilientyouth.org.
Right.
They've got specific questions.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. So any parting tips or encouragement for parents with teens?
Look, I think one of my favourite quotes over the years has been Theodore Roosevelt, who said that every child has inside him an aching void for excitement. And if we don't fill it with something that's exciting and interesting and good for them, they'll fill it with something that's exciting, interesting, and maybe not good for them.
Not good.
So
Yeah.
I like that. You know, that's what adolescence is about. It is finding things that is exciting and engaging. And if we could
100%.
walk alongside our young people, finding that and doing those exciting things, then I think that's the great first step.
I love that. And it's so, so true that we just need to walk beside them and understand. Thank you, Scott. I am so grateful you could join us today. This has been really insightful.
My pleasure. Thanks, Dr. Cam.
And thank you, parents, for taking time out of your busy day to spend with us. If you want to learn even more about how to connect with your teen and calm the drama, be sure to join me for the Parenting Teens Power Hour. I have an incredible lineup of experts lined up to share their best tips and secrets, and it's free. You can register at askdrcam.com/power hour. I'll put that link in the show notes as well as the links for Scott's free book. Also, if you enjoyed the episode and all the amazing nuggets that Scott shared with us, please take a moment to rate and review. This helps other parents like you find the show, and feel free to share it with a friend as well. Have a positive, peaceful, calm day.